Do you believe in boycotting Palestinian groups that violate international law?
Yeah, I mean, boycotts are not something new. Boycotts were around in the 1830s. The Negro National Convention came together to call for the boycott of the slave trade. We had the anti-Nazi boycott. By the way, the anti-Nazi boycott being the first international boycott, first worldwide boycott. And in fact, Hitler was so scared of the boycott movement, seeing the strength of a possible boycott movement of his country, that Hitler summoned in 1935, I think, Hitler summoned his Minister of Finance to come and explain to him what was the progress being made by the anti-Nazi boycott. So boycotts have been around for a while, and that I think that we should. I think that in principle, we should boycott, for example, those that supply weapons to Zimbabwe. I think it's great that Kasatu refused to offload the shipment of arms that went to Zimbabwe. I think that we should support the Sudanese task force, which is also a boycott movement. I think that we should support Gandhi. I mean, Gandhi spoke for the boycott.
Sorry, answer the question.
Could I perhaps be more specific in what I'm asking?
Right, please.
Could I be more specific?
So what is the principle? Right? In principle, I think those of us that believe in social justice should make sure principles can be good. As a tactic, I think that Israel is in a very difficult situation when it comes to the BDS movement. I think that it's the movement that can actually make a difference. So yeah, I don't think that answer.
I don't think so. Could I be more specific? Do you agree with sanctions against the Hamas-run Gaza Strip? Because Hamas, in that same Goldstone report, was also found to violate international law. So do you agree? So you believe in those sanctions?
That's great. I mean, if I make the case that if I can make the case that something that should be done against Israel for certain reasons, then logic follows. That if something is made against another party, I have to stand for that, and I do.
Further points. I mean, you say that you stand for the boycotting of Hamas, yet it seems that most Palestinian organizations have not complied with international law. I mean, I'd ask any of them to officially accept United Nations Resolution 181, which created the state division. So, I'd like to tell who, while they informally altered their charter, they never actually amended it. They're still there saying we want a one-state solution from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. I think the next point is that it's not only Hamas that are using tactics which are against international law. We've got movements Islamic challenge Qatar has been involved. Many of the suicide bombings actually came from Qatar. So what you are proposing is let's boycott the Palestinian people. I mean, do you think that that's very helpful?
You want us to start conversing on the Palestinian organizations? Sure, let's do it. I mean, let's start talking to those that support Hamas, both in our country and in Palestine. Let's start pointing out these kind of discrepancies that you have highlighted. But the fact is, you are using this as a distraction, not to do with the BDS call for against Israel. This is what you mean by
I want to ask you a question to follow on this. I understand how one could boycott Israel because when I go to Woolworths, I see Israeli tomatoes, right? So I know what that means. I don't really know what it means to be able to boycott a state like Palestine. Although the question I want to ask you is, considering that the reason I don't know what it means to boycott Palestine is because Israel has a military embargo around places like Gaza, it's not a little hypocritical to say, no, we can't now boycott Israel, considering that's essentially what Israel is enforcing by doing things like stopping all those Cypriot ships from landing in the Gaza Strip.
Okay, you've got, I want to say something. I saw a poster advertising this event. Would you eat an Israeli orange? And I found this quite humorous because one of the main exports of the Palestinian Authority is oranges. So in effect, you know how to boycott oranges. Okay, so that's the first point. I was something Mohammed said. What he's doing is he's calling on the world to starve Palestinians. That's what he's doing. He's calling on the world to starve Palestinians by boycotting Palestinian. And I don't believe that this is helpful. The negotiation to remove the settlements, to come to peace, will come from a negotiated solution. Then not something you said, the military embargo of Gaza. First of all, numerous countries around the world have acknowledged that Hamas is a terrorist organization that attacks women and children. And then I think one has to just look at history to see, some people say, oh, Gaza is the largest prison in the world. First of all, it's the largest open-air prison in the world. First of all, it's interesting to know that they have a border with Egypt. The Rafah crossing is a border with Egypt. So they can import things, let them import things through Egypt. The Cypriot ship that you mentioned, it's important to know that if you go and Cultrade, which is the Palestinian Institute for Trade, you'll see that humanitarian aid was never stopped through Gaza. There was not a point where basic humanitarian items. And then also let's go back a bit in history. Israel was the largest open-air prison before the 70s. Every single Arab state boycotted Israel, would not allow goods to move through it. So yeah, Israel is the largest. To me, Israel is the largest because of the Arab states.
Let's maybe get some more people from the audience to say a few things. Take one over there and then go next.
Okay. I have a question that I'm going to try and direct in both directions. From what I understand of the conflict, I get a feeling that Israel tends to act like it's got its back against the wall. So firstly, Mohammed, do you think that the BDS campaign would just pretty much sort of reinforce Israel's belief that, actually the entire world is against us just because we're a Jewish state, and maybe that could actually sort of backfire and actually harm the negotiations? And then to you also on the other side, do you feel that Israel would be able to recognize on the other hand that it is actually doing something wrong and that actually it should maybe in some instances be brought to order?
It's a bit of a follow-up to his question, but more specifically, if we look at BDS campaigns vis-a-vis Iran, North Korea, Zimbabwe, they've only increased the suffering of the civilian population, and those regimes, those that have no human rights, they don't even know what that word means, have just become more stubborn and done nothing. Do you not think that it would be much worse? I mean, in the current context, especially when you have countries like China, Russia that prop up dictatorships in places that don't believe in human rights.
There's a bit of a disadvantage there. I'd just like to ask you to clarify. I mean, when we boycott